Hey hockey players, Coach Garner here from hockeytraining.com. In this video, I want to talk about what it takes to be a good hockey player and how you're going to go about doing that. And it all comes down to these 4 quadrants, which make up complete hockey performance. I want you to view these 4 quadrants like a stool. Okay? If you're gonna knock one of these legs out of the stool is going to fall over, okay? You can't have some without the others. You need all 4 legs down so that's strong and stable and it's gonna support everything that you wanna accomplish in the sport of hockey. And the reason why I'm making this video is it can be very easy to get over-focused on training and under-respect sleep, lifestyle, and nutrition. In many cases, a lot of people throw all of their chips into the training machine, okay? And for a good reason. Training is wildly important. We need it to be mobile enough to be fluid out in the ice. We need it for speed. We need it for conditioning. We need it for strength. We need it for power. We need it for balance. We need it for athletic performance, okay? There's a reason why it's so popular. But let me tell you something. If you only have the training as a part of your hockey performance arsenal, you are always going to be an incomplete hockey player. And let me tell you why. We don't actually build muscle in the gym. We don't build strength in the gym. We don't build power in the gym. We don't build endurance in the gym. What we do in the gym is create a stimulus for strength, power, endurance, or conditioning, or whatever it is that you're after. You train to stimulate muscle tissues to change. Whether or not you actually change and progress determines on whether or not you can adapt to that stimulus that you're performing in the gym. For example, let's say you do 10 sets of 10 of squats today. Your legs are gonna say, holy crap, I was subjected to all kinds of stress today. I need to send a message to the brain and the nervous system and the body that I need more muscle and strength in my legs in case this guy ever tries to subject me to that amount of stress again. That signal cascade will get sent. What determines whether or not you actually adapt to that signaling cascade is how good your nutrition is, how good your sleep is, and how dedicated and consistent your lifestyle is, okay? You ever know somebody who trains a lot and actually trains pretty hard, but stays pretty small, stays decently weak, and really doesn't improve their hockey performance? I feel bad for them too, and that was me one day, okay? That's why I'm allowed to say these things. But when I learned the entire process of adaptation, I was able to help myself and the thousands of hockey athletes that I've worked with so much better. This stuff actually allows you to adapt to what you're doing in the gym, and then you're actually gonna start making progress and truly connecting all the dots that's gonna relate to your hockey performance, okay? We need to train, but we need to train like a hockey player. There's a big difference between hockey training and training, okay? If you're just training, you might be building some strength, you might be building some muscle, you might be building some conditioning, that's all good and well. But what determines whether or not that's gonna translate onto the ice is how sport-specific those adaptations are. Are you training to create the stimulus in the gym to look better and be stronger? Or are you training to create a stimulus in the gym to create on-ice skating speed and on-ice increased shot power and on-ice hard to knock off the puck kind of foundational strength? These are different things, and it's a reason why hockey training exists. It is its own subset category of training workouts, of training programs, and of full yearly training periodization plans built not to make you a better weightlifter, but to make you a better hockey player. So a lot of people train, but I need to put an asterisk and say that you need to train for hockey. Next is your nutrition, okay? Nutrition is super important and is often overlooked. mainly because it can be really complicated, but I've made plenty of nutrition videos that I really want you to check out on protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Because if these things aren't in check for you, then your guess is as good as mine as to what's actually going to happen to your progress inside the gym. For example, this typical conversation happens between me and athletes all the time. They're saying, yep, Dan, I have 50 grams of whey isolate after training, after every single workout. I never miss it. I'm like, all right, cool. How much protein do you have in the entire day? And they have absolutely no idea. How much protein you have in the entire day is light years more important than when you actually have it. Okay, these things all need to be in check. Total protein intake, total carbohydrate intake, total fat intake, making sure your pre and post-workout nutrition is on point. You guys, I've wrote tons of blogs and made tons of videos on this stuff for you and given example meal plans. Your nutrition, effort, and intensity, and preparation, and organization all has to be at the same level of your training. These go hand in hand, and you can't have one without the other. Nutrition's what's actually going to allow you to drop body fat and increase muscle mass. Because if you're just creating a stimulus, well, you still need to provide all the raw materials that are demanded to adapt to that stimulus. Enough protein to grow, enough carbohydrates to recover, and enough total calories to build up your body, okay? That stuff's got to be there in the right amounts and the right type of foods. How about sleep? Sleep, you can't cut sleep. We've seen in the literature that can affect all kinds of things. For example, one study at the University of Chicago found cutting sleep from 9 hours per night to 5 hours per night saw that in only 5 days, young healthy males reduced their testosterone levels by 14%. That was only 5 days. As likely they continued this study, testosterone would continue to drop. That's really important because testosterone is important for recovery, for strength, for muscle building, to have that competitive drive, to be able to adapt to the stimulus, all kinds of stuff. But beyond this, what we've also found when you decrease sleep, and this study was actually cut from 8.5 hours to 5.5 hours per night, is that a hormone known as leptin was decreased, and another hormone known as ghrelin was increased. Now, leptin's really important to make sure you have a high metabolism, but leptin is also one of the number one satiety hormones. So it allows you to feel fuller longer from the foods that you're eating. Whereas ghrelin is a hunger and appetite stimulating hormone. And in this particular study, it increased appetite signaling 28%. Okay, so now we're looking at an athlete who has less testosterone, is feeling less full from his meals, and is also a lot hungrier. Okay, you couldn't create a better recipe for not building muscle and creating a lot of fat storage by overeating and not actually feeling full, and also having less testosterone to properly metabolize and put those nutrients into the muscle cell as otherwise would be there if you were sleeping. Now, you guys, I've done blogs on sleep. This conversation could go on forever. It's its own standalone. That's why it's on here. People normally only ever talk about training and nutrition, but sleep is equally as pivotal because if your training's awesome and your nutrition's awesome, well, guess what? Hormonally, you can still be quite a mess if your sleep isn't on point. And another last important thing to point out, sleep is the number one king of recovery from exercise. Sleep is more important than total calorie intake. Sleep is more important than total protein intake. Nothing is more important than sleep in order to repair both your musculature, but also your neural and nervous system tissue as well. Sleep checks all of those boxes that are absolutely crucial to make sure you have a high-performing and healthy hockey career. Lastly, we have lifestyle. Now, lifestyle can mean a lot of things, but I want to tease out a couple of important points here. First point is that your lifestyle and behavior needs to match your values, okay? If you have a goal of becoming the best hockey player you can be, and you're trying to get pretty serious about your training, nutrition, and sleep, but you're going to a rave every single weekend, getting hammered every single weekend, or drinking throughout the week, not sleeping when you should be sleeping, sometimes missing sessions, just kind of, this stuff, it has to be congruent with your values and your goals. If you have a vision of becoming the best hockey player that you can be, you can't go to a rave every single weekend, okay? You can't get hammered every single weekend and expect that you're still going to be the best out there, okay? That stuff has obvious biological stressors within the body and was within the category of lifestyle that it's its own standalone. Even if this stuff is great and your lifestyle is not supporting what you're trying to accomplish, it's not gonna support what you're trying to accomplish, period. Next in lifestyle is actually stress. Stress comes in many different forms. Now, we could get very technical about this and talk about certain hormonal secretion from the adrenal glands and the hypothalamus and the pituitary, but just put very simply, all types of stress create the same stress response within the body. Whether it's psychological, emotional, physical, or even environmental. All of these different stressors create a signaling cascade within the body that is stress. And what we've seen within the literature is that test subjects who have score high on lifestyle-related stresses in comparison to subjects who score low in lifestyle-related stressors can take twice as long to recover from exercise and also report more muscle soreness from resistance training than their non-stress counterparts. Twice as long to recover and more sore, it means your training frequency has to go down. And when your training frequency goes down, then you're not able to create as many stimuluses for progression. When you're not creating as many stimuluses for progression, you're not gonna progress, period, because it's a stimulus that's causing you to move forward for your hockey performance. So your stress levels and your behavior has to match your goals. You guys gotta be sleeping 7 to 9 hours per night is the recommended sleep total time duration. And going less than this has been demonstrated to cause certain biochemistry that doesn't support hockey performance in many different ways. But going more than that also tends to cause certain biochemistry that's not good. So sleep, more is not better. If you can sleep, sleeping 16 hours is not better than sleeping 9 hours, okay? 7 to 9 seems to be the real sweet spot based on all the literature that we have access to today. Training, we need to stimulate hockey-specific performance and not just bodybuilding and powerlifting, and our nutrition needs to be there to fuel our workouts and allow us to recover from our workouts and allow us to perform optimally when it comes to game time, okay? If you want to be the best hockey player you can possibly be, you need to cover these 4 quadrants and not just focus on any one of these quadrants. That's how you become the best you can possibly be. Thanks for watching.